Welcome back everybody to Space Truckers episode number 4. My name is Maxwell and today we are going to be making a 5 jump run with a stop off in the middle. It's going to be a total of around 36... no it's not. It's going to be a total of around 56 light years and 5 total jumps. We're going to be running from where we are here in Nang Tak Hian and ending up in Surya, which is Burbank Camp, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to be stopping off in LFT 992 to deliver some personal weapons, which is what we are about to buy now. So we'll head into the commodities market. So first jump, we're going to be taking firearms. As soon as I can find them, personal weapons. We will load up on these. 400,000 credits on firearms, and then we'll go ahead and get out into the big black as quick as possible. So as always, first things first, I want to start with follow up from the previous episode. So there were a couple of questions and a few things that I do want to follow up on. So as soon as we've launched away from this incredibly loud launching noise, we will get right to it. Now that looks like there's something going on in the doorway that I probably don't want to get involved in. So we will head forward fairly slowly. We've got 5 minutes to leave the station, but it looks like these NPCs are dicking around a little bit. There is some cargo floating around there. There we go. Looks like some of them at least are moving out the way, so we can get out into space. So straight away follow up. I just want to answer a couple of little questions that people had. So I think one of them was, is Cuttlebug English? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, she is. I know she maybe looks a little bit European, maybe a little bit Mediterranean in that photo, but I think it was the summer, so she had a tan. But yes, definitely English, British, both of us are. Right, where are we going first? We are going to Weird. That's alright. I'm pretty sure that weapons aren't illegal here. And if they are, then I'm screwed. Right, let's charge our jump drive. I feel like I've done a complete circle, so I'm surprised. I am flying back towards the station. Let's hope I don't get mass locked while I'm charging, if that's even possible. And then once we hit the jump, we'll do the rest of the follow-up. So it's actually a little bit fitting, considering the cargo that I'm running, but I do remember, I don't think it was on episode 3, I think it was on episode 2, someone was asking what my opinion and stance is on gun control and owning firearms in general. I think they were an American. I am going to answer the question, but I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's really a political and sociological what's the word I'm looking for? Issue. And whenever you talk politics or sociology, it doesn't matter how valid or well thought out, diplomatic or whatever your response is, it's going to annoy some people, and it just seems silly to purposefully antagonize your audience when you know that it's going to annoy them. So I try to stay away from things like this, but I am going to answer it, but I'm going to answer it as simply as possible. And really, I don't have that much of an issue on firearms and firearm control in general, and that's just because I am a Brit, and firearms, you don't get them in this country. Yes, criminals do use firearms sometimes, and yes, we do have police armed with firearms, but your average police officer on the street does not carry a weapon, or at least a firearm. Some of them carry tasers these days, but that's something different. But yeah, so oops, throttle up. So we really don't come into contact with them at all. It's like somebody could go through their entire life and never even be within 100 meters of a firearm, and that's not an unheard of thing. So really, I don't really have an opinion on gun control because it's a very ingrained thing that Americans feel the right to bear arms, whereas obviously in this country we have no such ideas, really. I've just realised this has turned into a bit of a lacklustre answer, but I am doing my best. Oh my god, is that 141,000 light seconds? Holy shit, am I in the right place here? LFT 992. Skuzwuzwa Mines. Yep, that's the one. Right, well, let's... This is Space Truckers, so let's sit in for the long haul, ladies and gentlemen. Hands off the keyboard and mouse and lean back and wait for this 141,000 light seconds to tick down. Currently going about 20 times the speed of light. We'll see what we can get that up to. Temperature's not too bad, but yeah, gun control. Really not got that much of an opinion on gun control, because it's in this country, it's just not an issue at all. There is absolutely no situation in my life that I can ever think of when I would need a firearm for anything, even for home protection. Somebody burgling a house is not going to be carrying a firearm. If you've got yourself a wrench or a stick or a bat, you're as well armed as your invader. So there is absolutely no situation in my life that could ever probably come up where I would think, yes, I would need a firearm for this situation. So in this country, I'm all for gun control, but obviously in America it's different. A home invader could easily have God knows how many firearms. So yeah, all I'm going to give you is from my point of view. I just think it's in this country at least, it's just silly for anybody to think they need, or think it was necessary to own any kind of firearm whatsoever. It's just not ingrained in us. Like I said, I could go my entire life never having touched a firearm. Now, obviously, I was in the Territorial Army when I was younger, which is kind of just like a drinking club for young men. So I have handled and fired firearms. I've been clay pigeon shooting, so I've fired a shotgun. I've been on a firing range, so I've fired the British SA-80 military rifle when I was younger. So, God, 115 times the speed of light. So, I'm not a stranger to firearms, but like I said, I just find no situation in my life could ever occur where I would feel the need to have to own a firearm to resolve that situation. And I think it's worked fantastically in this country. Obviously, my sort of gut reaction would be sort of transfer that kind of thing over to America, just get rid of all guns. But then obviously you've got the whole Americans feel deeply ingrained to bear arms. It's basically, it's one of their constitutional rights, and I can understand that, and I can understand people feeling very sort of wronged if the government steps in and tries to take that away, because I know one of the founding principles of America is small government, even though it's got one of the biggest governments in the world now. The kind of people left for America in the first place to get away from the tyranny of large governments. So that's kind of the government stepping in and saying, no, you can't do that. It kind of really goes against their beliefs and everything. It's kind of like the British government stepping in and saying, no, you can't drink a cup of tea anymore, except a cup of tea can't really be used as a deadly weapon, but still, it's the same sort of thing, I would imagine. So anyway, I think that was about it for the follow-up. Let's get on to today's topic, which is going to be my gaming past and gaming in general. So I know there was a few questions about what I thought of various games, what I thought of the gaming industry, early access, and my history with gaming in general. So I thought I would talk a little about that today. First off, my gaming history. Well, you know my immediate history with gaming, which was Elite, the original Elite, and that's really one of the first real video games that I ever played. Obviously, I used to own an Amstrad and a Commodore 64, so played some of those awful games that were out for those systems at the time. But Elite was really my first experience with a proper in-depth game that I played for months and months and months on end. Just wondering if I should be, at what point I should be slowing down here. I know I should be going 10% of that, which is what, 96,000? So I should be going 9,000 times the speed of light. Never mind. Right, so gaming history after that is pretty much just, again, I owned an Amstrad and a Commodore 64, and then upgraded to an Amiga 500 plus, I think it was. Obviously, you get much better Amigas, but stuck with that one until the first console. So early gaming experience was really strategy games were one of my big favourites. I remember there was an old Caesar game that I used to play on the Amiga, which was all about reforming, but forming the Roman Empire, and I really enjoyed that game. Loved it a lot. And obviously, as I was talking about last week, I've got a history of tabletop wargaming as well, which is why I really enjoy the strategy games as well. But I think there aren't really that many standout games on the really old systems, apart from maybe Another World and Flashback. I really enjoyed those on the Amiga. They were fantastic. Another game that I enjoyed probably almost as much as I enjoyed the Elite game. That was a puzzle platformer, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was. Another World and Flashback. And after that, I think I pretty much had everybody else's progression, which is first console was a Master System. Then I had a Mega Drive. I wasn't a Nintendo guy. I had a Master System and a Mega Drive, rather than a NES and a SNES. Although obviously you would have friends, and you would strategically make your friends the guys who owned the other systems. So obviously, I owned the Mega Drive and Master System, and I had friends who owned the NES and the SNES, and that would be because obviously you want to play with as many different systems as possible. And just progress from there. As soon as the first PlayStation came out, that was sort of light in the sky moment. That the first PlayStation was an amazing platform when it first came out, and I remember getting the original Tekken game for that and thinking it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. Oh, before that there was the Sega Saturn. I remember playing the original Command & Conquer on the Sega Saturn with a friend of mine extensively. We played that for hours and hours and hours on end. Just really enjoyed the Command & Conquer series as well. Like I said, that just goes back to strategy gaming roots. From the tabletop wargaming days. I think it wasn't until sort of around about the era of the PlayStation 2 when I started to look more at PC gaming. It was around about the PlayStation 2 time when I actually had some money and I think was able to get my first PC. And really since then I've never really looked back. PC gaming is just, in my opinion, it's the undiluted version of gaming rather than the console. But I mean, I don't hate consoles. I'm not one of these guys that says, "Oh, you're an idiot because you play on an Xbox," or "You're an idiot because you play on a PlayStation." We're not. People should get that kind of mentality out of their heads. We're all gamers. We all play the games. Just because we choose to do it on different platforms doesn't mean we're different at all. I mean, I've always owned consoles, and that's just because obviously you do get some console exclusive. Like, I remember the PlayStation 3 was the only system you could get Heavy Rain on, and I absolutely loved the game Heavy Rain, which was that sort of... It was almost like watching a 6-hour film rather than playing a game. It was absolutely fantastic, and I think the original Fahrenheit, I think it was called in America. I'm not... can't remember 100% what it was called in the EU, but that was a good game as well until it got to the end when it just turned absolutely ridiculously drunk for some reason. But I've always owned consoles. I owned an Xbox 360 just for World of Tanks, and I owned a PlayStation 3 because it was the cheapest Blu-ray player that money could buy at the time when Blu-ray players first came out. I was looking at buying a Blu-ray player, and then the PlayStation 3 came out and went, "Oh, well, look, we've got a Blu-ray player as well." And I was like, "Ha! I get a Blu-ray player and a next generation console for a few £100. Yes, that is sold." I'm trying to think gaming specifically on the console. I did play a lot of Guitar Hero, but I think everybody played Guitar Hero when that first came out because it was Guitar Hero. Let's just get a little bit more speed on. Although I don't want to overshoot. PC-wise, again, I think I've spoke already about PC gaming habits in general, which are just really... strategy gaming, 4X strategy games I really like the Civilization series and the Age of Wonder series. Really enjoy those. I'm not a big fan of shooters, but I think that's just because I don't really have the reflexes or the sort of the fine dexterity that you need for these first-person shooters these days. I'm just not quite quick enough. I'm probably a little bit too old, being in my 30s now, to play these first-person shooters, which is why I really enjoy World of Tanks, because it's like a first-person shooter, but it's a lot more slow, methodical, and tactical. Obviously, it's not Twitch based because your turret only rotates at the speed that it rotates, not the speed that you turn your mouse. So probably the reason that I really enjoy that one. So I think that is pretty much my gaming history. The rest of my gaming history you can pretty much see just by having a look through some of my past videos. Almost everything that I've played in the last 3 years has been made a video of and put on this channel at some point. Apart from one thing, there's one game series that I have played almost religiously since its inception, but have never once posted a video for it and never once talked about it. And that's probably because I feel a little bit like it's my guilty pleasure. Like, it's the one game that I really, really enjoy, but don't feel that comfortable talking about. And I think that's just because it's kind of got the stigma that it's a game really designed for younger people and women. So, 10 points to anybody out there who can guess. Pause the video now and guess before I actually mention it. But my guilty pleasure game series is really The Sims. Since the first Sims game came out on the PC back in God knows when, I picked that up straight away and absolutely loved it. And then from there got The Sims 2 and The Sims 3. I think The Sims 2 was the biggest one for me. I think I had pretty much every single expansion going for that game. And believe me, there was a lot. Am I going a bit too fast here? I feel like I am. I had every single expansion going for The Sims. I had almost every expansion for The Sims 3, but it got a bit ludicrous at the end. And with the advent of the YouTube channel 3 years ago, pretty much 3 years ago when I started now, I really had to prioritise time with recording games for the YouTube channel, so played less and less of The Sims. As time went on, and just didn't really get some of the much newer expansions for The Sims 3. The wife, though, she really enjoys The Sims, and she plays it as well. She's got The Sims. So that's my guilty pleasure gaming series. If you guys wanna be brave and tell us in the comments what your guilty pleasure gaming series is, that probably make me feel a little bit better about mine. But the upshot of that is, with The Sims 4 releasing in a couple of weeks, I'm really, really tempted to do a co-op gameplay series with my wife Cuttlebug, Laura. Really tempted to do a co-op playthrough of that. I can't decide whether to have us sort of both in the same room controlling the same characters, or if they do actually have a multiplayer aspect involved, then whether we can just play it multiplayer. I'm not too sure. I know the original plan was to have it multiplayer, but I'm not sure if they've kept up with that, because game companies make a lot of promises and very rarely seem to deliver on them. So, like the whole SimCity debacle, and I know I'm an idiot for trusting EA hype at all, but it's The Sims, man. It's The Sims. Right, where is this rotating? Why can't I figure this out? Alright, it's rotating over there. Let's get some power into the engines. Whoops. Try not to cause motion sickness here. So it looks like it's rotating about that axis, I think. God, it's taken us a while to get here thanks to the distance. I'm glad that firearms aren't illegal here as well, or else I'd be in serious trouble. But I don't think Slopies will suggest illegal items unless you ask it to. Alright, so let's get around the other side. We'll request some docking.
Request granted.
There we go. So yeah, very, very tempted to make a co-op Let's Play series of The Sims 4. Hang on a sec, is that the door there? Did I just fly over the door? I think I might have. Actually, whoops, deployed the pulse lasers there. Let's have a spin around and just take a look. So I think I may I've flown past the door. No, I haven't. Should have stuck to my original course. Second guessing myself here, and I'm getting in trouble because of it. Right, it should be over here then. Make sure we're not going to crash into this thing. So yeah, if that sounds like something that you might want to watch, considering that it's going to have Cuttlebug in it, and everybody seems to love Cuttlebug, because she is funny and she is a troll. Definitely let me know in the comment section. I can see about getting that started up at some point. Well, not at some point, obviously when the game releases. We'll look at doing that. Right, let's spin ourselves around. Just taking the long route on this one. I know I could just roll. There it is. I know I could just roll and then pitch and it'll be a lot easier, but I just wanted to take the long route. Actually, that isn't, is it? It's the other side. No, it is there. No, that's clockwise. My word. Right. That is clockwise, so it's over here. Wow. It, you can tell it's been 4 days since I played Elite. I've never had so much problem docking in my life. Holy shit. Right. So yeah, if that's something that you might watch, then leave me a comment in the comment section letting me know. And if you want to give me grief for The Sims being my guilty pleasure gaming series, I really don't mind, because I know a lot of adults aren't a massive fan of the game, which is understandable. I'll just better request docking permission again there, but we already have it. It's just taken me this long to get here. Not really lined up very well. Hopefully I don't lose it. Oops. Am I going too fast? Nah, I'm only going 68. Right, what are we on? Pad 23. Oh, shit. Holy fuckballs, that was close. Whew. Alright, let's get in here. And we've got a little tower in front of where I need to... I'm tempted to rebind the acceleration to the mouse wheel, because at the moment it's on W and S. And sometimes when I'm trying to control pitch and thrust in a certain direction, it gets a little bit difficult. There we go. Right, we are here. So yeah, guilty pleasure, Sims. Let me know if it's something that you guys would be interested in watching. I'd be interested to know if you would be interested in watching. But to be honest, I think I'm probably going to have to stop the episode there, because I didn't realise it was going to take 140,000 light seconds to get here. But what I'll do is there'll be one other episode this week. Almost certainly it's going to be, what day is it? Day Thursday. So almost certainly it's going to be on Friday. No, Saturday, sorry, not Friday. So don't worry about this one being a slightly shorter than normal episode. Say slightly shorter than normal episode, it's still 25 minutes. We made a cool 45,000 credits here. We're up to over 500,000 now. And next time we will make a jump, 3 jumps from LFT 992 to... Oh god, I can't remember now. So yeah, that's the one. Sorry about the silence there. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this episode, although it is, well, say slightly shorter. It's still 25 minutes, which I think is fine for a space trucker. So I want to try and keep it between 20 to 30 minutes. So the idea is to try and keep it over 20 minutes, but less than 30 minutes. Just because the longer videos don't tend to get watched all the way to the end, which means that I'm kind of making that last 5 to 10 minutes worth of content for not very many people, which is always a bit of a shame, because that's when some of the best stuff can happen. So, comments in the comment section about topics, any questions you might have for follow-up next week, any opinions on a Sims playthrough, and don't worry, I'll be talking more about the games industry next week, the things that we didn't get to talk about this week, today. So, thanks very much for watching, everybody. This has been Space Truckers episode 4. I've been Maxwell, and I'll catch you guys next time.